But the Oilers survive, and they are moving on to Dallas, Frank. Game 1 goes Thursday between these two sides. And when you go to take a first glance at this matchup, I think obviously it's the most difficult team the Oilers have ran into. For Dallas, I think, a big part for them, they've gotten a couple days off to rest now. And I think that could end up being a big advantage, especially when you consider the status of Rupe Hintz. But when you first look at this thing, Frank, what are some of the key battlegrounds? What are some of the storylines you're most intrigued by?
Depth, depth, and depth. That's what the Dallas Stars are. And the Oilers are going to really need to find other players to score. They had way more hands on deck in the final 2 games of the series. They found even strength scoring. And even in game 7, Dylan Holloway, great game. Ryan McLeod, way better game. Their fourth line was cooking at times. Janmark had an unbelievable game. You need to convert good games into goals on the score sheet because the Dallas Stars have 2 first lines. They have 8 20-goal scorers. They have a defense core that is thinner in quantity, but deeper in quality. And they also have the unquestioned best goalie in the series. So there's a lot of ground for the Oilers to try and make up, but very similarly to the Canucks, and I would say the Oilers have this advantage over every team that's left. Their ceiling of McDavid and Draisaitl when they're on is a level that, especially in the playoffs, Leon Draisaitl, the 4th fastest player ever to 100 career playoff points, they've got a level that I don't think any other team can get to. Can you get there? How many times can you get there? And how consistently can you get there? And what are you going to do for the rest of your team on nights when, or moments when they don't have it?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and you talked about the depth. I also just think this Dallas team has the ability to negate Edmonton's biggest advantage. And again, that is the ability for 97 and 29 to produce, whether it's Ottinger standing tall, whether it's on the blue line, a guy like Miro Heiskanen, who can absolutely keep up with Connor McDavid and defend him off the rush. Or you look up front, you said it, they have 2 first lines, and then they have a hell of a third line and a hell of a fourth line. And that's just an area where Edmonton can't keep up. It's going to be a really interesting series. And while we're talking conference finals, Frank, I want to ask you an interesting question we got in the YouTube chat quickly, because there's been a lot of years in the NHL where the first round is like, boom, fireworks, unbelievable. And then it kind of tapers off a little bit. Teams get banged up. Maybe you get a team that goes on a miracle run that runs out of steam in the 3rd round or even sometimes the cup final. But Corey asks, which remaining team is the most fraudulent? And I honestly don't think any of them are. I think this is going to be an unbelievable conference finals. I don't look at any of these teams as, well, it's probably going to be a quick out there.
Fraudulent? No, look, there are many years where we don't get a fantastic conference final because there's some team that goes on a miracle run and then gets their doors blown off. I'm not saying it's impossible for there to be a short series because I don't think that that's the case. You see frequently teams get themselves into trouble even in close games. But this is the best collection of 4 teams that we've had in a conference final. I think the best 4 teams remaining that we've seen in some time that I can remember at least.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hell of a conference final in both the West and East. We'll continue our previews of it tomorrow and throughout the week on the show. Game 1 in the East goes tomorrow night between the Rangers and Panthers. Game 1 out West goes on Thursday from Dallas.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.